really so sad to see tears of the old and tears of the young mingling because of state terror. You know, when you see an old person coming to Central Police, when you saw even before there was the Embu father, I can't remember his name, when again his son had been abducted and, you know, came to court and, you know, those are bad tears of the old and the young when they mingle. Of course, the MPs cannot impeach the president because, you know, they are in business in parliament. And when something happens, they make some statements, they make some noise as if, you know, thinking that their constituents will believe they are representatives, you know, but they are, of course, not representatives. And let me say that, you know, Paul to family, immediate family, nucleus family of Albert Ojwang. It's so unfortunate that it's almost every day that we are saying, Paul, for young people being killed before their life really comes to an end because of a disease, because of old age, and stuff like that. It is unnatural. You see, if, for example, there are politicians in representing the constituencies in Nyanza, Luo Nyanza, who say they are in government and therefore they cannot contradict what they have been told by their principal, and therefore a constituent, somebody they represent, is murdered and they cannot say something, then it means that it's only the politicians who are in government. Ojwang, the late Ojwang, his family, and the majority of the people from those areas are not in government, like where it was. And I think this is the point that is being made, that there is a lot of political miseducation and all this business about negative ethnicity, about quote tribalism, which was planted during colonialism, was picked up by the first administration, and has consistently been picked up by the political elite, so that they use it to divide the votes. And then after the voting, they come together in those coalitions and handshakes and God knows what else. And therefore, the majority of the people are cheated that they are being represented by their sons and daughters, mostly by their sons. And when, of course, there is nothing going back home to them in terms of development, they're just told that next time we are going to win and it will be better. So I think in all these things that we are talking about, you know, about change, the point was made, how do you awaken the people? What do you deal with the illiteracy of the voter? And people can be illiterate even when they are literate, educationally literate, or they have gone to schools, or, you know, because you even find people who have some formal education, but they're illiterate voters as well. So that will be a huge thing. Like I did a tweet today about this talk of cousins. So if I said if they are Bantu cousins, they are Nilotic people, they are the others. Now, cousins, if I can use that term in quotes, have also married Nilots, and they have married the other. So it means in one's household, there are cousins, and then there are also Nilots, and therefore there are also others. And of course, that's how people, they work together in whole groups. They go to school in whole groups. You know, they do that intermarriage thing in, you know, all over the place. So you can see this is what happened in Rwanda when they were convinced that they are Hutus and Tutsis. And therefore, even within a family context, you would kill a Hutu or mostly a Tutsi because you are told now those are not good people. Even when there's been marriages, even sometimes you would tear the womb of a woman to remove a Tutsi from there. You know, if you are Hutu married. So you can see the complications also that the young people are trying to say, let us offload this bullshit of tribes and tribalism. And of course, I'm not saying that positive ethnicity is negative, as Gugi told us. It's in the Constitution, Article 11 and other articles. And we will have time to talk about culture. What is really proper culture and what is primitive, you know, stuff like this tribalism. And these people themselves go and work together. They always work together. They do business together. So they do politics together. And then they tell us we are different tribes and we believe them. And I think it was King Kaka who said wajinga nyinyi. So one is saying that at some point we must stop being wajinga sisi. Now, the Minister for Interior talked about Yala, and I was trying to kind of think about the message, and this point was made. Because was he saying, because the former administration did Yala, we have a right to do our quarry, we have the right to do this genocide of young people. So I'm still pondering about what is the point that was being made. And the point that was made about emergency, that a time can come when this regime believes that the only way to perpetuate itself is through creating an emergency. I don't think that's a far-fetched idea. I think it was 254 who brought that up. Because even June 25th last year, there was thought about that. But I think someone said, you know, another situation should be resorted to. So if that time there was thought about an emergency, it means that this is still on the cards. The constitution has actually been overthrown because the things that are being done cannot be done if somebody is faithful to the constitution. And even, you know, the system does not, you know, believe there is a law. There is a constitution. It is jungle law that is now ruling in this situation. And therefore, people must really, at a very serious level, ask themselves, are we going to allow this sliding to continue? The police and the people are being told they're independent. Of course, we know they are not. But it is like a clever way of beginning to shift the blame to say if some wrong things were done, it was just the police. And I think that's why we need to make the point that the police who are innocent in this matter, we must protect them. And we must be able to, when we really get the evidence that, like some of the police at Central Police, that actually they were not involved and they were trying to say, this body, you have injured it, we don't want it here. Then if, you know, if such innocent police are arrested, then we need to say we don't want those ones who did not commit the crime. We want, you know, those who committed the crime. And that must be very, very clear. And I think the statement of the Law Society was very clear on that. And I think it is unfortunate that up to now, on the whole, it is the Gen Zs alone who are prosecuting these matters. The middle class, us middle class, the Gen Zotes, are still, let me say, asleep. And even the cousins who do press conferences, they have a lot of responsibility. And it is not enough for them to just be doing press conferences. It is not enough for them to appear in court. Those are very safe spaces. And you can't change Kenya from safe spaces. So the time is coming when people who stand for Kenya, it will become clear who is standing for Kenya. And I think this is a message that we should pass to ourselves, to those other people who say they are opposition. It is really so sad to see tears of the old and tears of the young mingling because of state terror. When you see an old person coming to Central Police, when you saw even before there was the Embu father, I can't remember his name, when again his son had been abducted and, came to court and, those are bad tears of the old and the young when they mingle. Of course, the MPs cannot impeach the president because, they are in business in parliament. And when something happens, they make some statements, they make some noise as if, thinking that their constituents will believe they are representatives, but they are, of course, not representatives.